3 years ago, Xiao Jing and his first love fell into the water together, risking my life. I only managed to save Xiao Jing. 3 years later, Xiao Jing became my husband. During my most important competition, he spiked my water with performance-enhancing drugs. My reputation is ruined, and my family is destroyed, he said. You Feifei, you've won so many championships your hands ache. Yet 3 years ago you deliberately let Qinghong drown. This is the retribution you deserve. Someone's fallen in the water. There's a person drowning up ahead. Someone bumped into me, nearly knocking me off balance. My hand scraped against the ground, leaving bloody marks. Are you okay? The person anxiously helped me up, staring at the vaguely familiar face before me. I suddenly froze. Lin Junshu. Lin Junshu's face lit up the moment he saw me, as if spotting a savior. You Feifei, Xiao Jing fell into the water. Go save him, quick. Staggering to my feet, I realized with shock that I'd been transported back 3 years, to the very day Xiao Jing and Zhou Qinghong had drowned. Lin Junshu was a classmate of both Xiao Jing and me. I was on the school swim team, while he was in track and field. In my past life, it was also Lin Junshu who bumped into me and told me Xiao Jing had fallen into the water. At that time, I was running a fever, and hearing about Xiao Jing's accident sent me into complete panic, ignoring everyone's warnings. I plunged into the water in a daze to save him. Xiao Jing couldn't swim, and he clung to me desperately. Even a seasoned swimmer like me nearly met my Waterloo that day. It took every ounce of my strength to drag him ashore. Someone finally screamed, "There's still a person in the lake." At the sight of that ghastly red streak in the water, the rest of the school swim team dove in. My strength gave out, and everything went black as I passed out. But Zhou Qinghong couldn't be saved in the end. Afterwards, I contracted severe pneumonia from bacteria while rescuing Xiao Jing. I was in a coma for a day at the hospital and needed 4 days to recover, causing me to miss swim training. My spot on the provincial team was snatched away just like that. But when I woke from the coma, I saw Xiao Jing staring at me with red-rimmed eyes. Thought he was crying out of worry. I wish I could slap some sense into my past self. Back then, he probably wanted to tear me apart to avenge Zhou Qinghong. Why is your face so red? Lin Junshu noticed something was off about me. He reached out and touched my forehead. With exaggerated alarm, he exclaimed, "Your forehead is burning up." I gave a bitter smile. I think I'm running a fever, and my head is killing me. Who did you say fell into the water just now? The interruption suddenly jogged Lin Junshu's memory, and he exclaimed with realization, "It was Xiao Jing who fell in." You're running a fever. Don't do anything reckless that might put you in danger. I'll go find someone else to help. Our campus is enormous, with an artificial lake that's not only scenic but also 2 meters deep in a remote location. Most people wouldn't dare go near it. In my past life, I only knew Xiao Jing had fallen in, never realizing Zhou Qinghong was in the water too. Rescuing Xiao Jing took so long that no one noticed until Zhou Qinghong surfaced on her own. Yet Xiao Jing blamed everything on me, masking the coldness in my eyes. I feigned urgency in my voice. Xiao Jing fell into the water. No way. I've got to check on him. I sprinted toward the artificial lake where he'd fallen in. Lin Junshu, worried I'd jump in, actually chased after me. He shouted, "You Feifei, you're running a fever. Don't you dare go in that water." I'd never jump in to save that ungrateful wretch again. In my past life, I had actually won first place in the international championship. I was on the verge of joining the national team when someone anonymously reported me for doping. They stripped me of my medal on the spot and took me for testing. The drug test actually detected stimulants in my blood, but I never took any performance-enhancing drugs, nor did I eat anything unusual before the competition. Yet the test results don't lie. I know I've been framed. Everyone's calling me a disgrace, saying I've humiliated our country just to win. Many people came to my parents' house, hurling insults at them for raising such an unfilial daughter. Some even threw excrement and issued threats. The rage left my father paralyzed from a stroke, while my mother became a trembling wreck, crying herself to sleep every night. Only later did I discover the whistleblower was Xiao Jing. I screamed at him like a madwoman, demanding to know why he'd do this to me. Forget childhood friendship after I risked my life to save him 3 years ago. This betrayal is unforgivable. Then he disgustingly shoved me to the ground with brutal force. You Feifei, this is your karma coming back to bite you. You were such a strong swimmer, yet you deliberately let Qinghong drown 3 years ago. How dare someone like you stand proudly under the national flag? This is your karma. The man I loved for years destroyed my dreams and caused my father's stroke. Starved for days, I blacked out in rage and found myself transported back to the day Xiao Jing fell into the water. I froze. Xiao Jing, care to guess whether I'll dive in to save you this time around? By the time I reached the artificial lake, a crowd had already gathered. On that freezing winter day, no one was willing to brave the icy waters for a rescue. First, the river water was freezing cold, without proper warm-up. Even an Olympic swimmer would get leg cramps. Second, self-preservation is human nature. In my past life, had I not been infatuated with Xiao Jing, I wouldn't have recklessly jumped in to save him. That's Yu Feifei. I know her. She's on the university swim team. With her here, the person in the river is definitely saved. Yeah, Yu Feifei, someone fell in, go save them. 2. I tuned out the crowd's jeering completely. My gaze remained fixed on the bamboo grove by the artificial lake. Lin Shujun, could you do me a favor? Lin Junshu. Get some male classmates to help me. No weaklings. I walked straight past Lin Junshu and left the crowd. The onlookers suddenly erupted in commotion. How could she just stand by and watch? And she's on the school swim team too. What a heartless person. How could someone like this be at our university? I got it all on video. With the training camp coming up, how does someone like her deserve to make the provincial team? I sneered inwardly. Lin Junshu had no idea what I was planning. But he still rounded up a few male classmates. Hearing the nasty remarks from the crowd, she immediately turned around and shot them a glare. Yu Feifei is running a fever. Jumping in wouldn't just fail to save anyone, she might drown herself. If you're so capable, why don't you jump in and save them yourselves? The loudest hecklers were left red-faced and fuming. See, even the smoothest talker would tremble before Junshu Lin's fists the size of sandbags. Fuming as he was, Junshu Lin still trailed behind me, curious about why I'd sought him out. I led a few men into the bamboo grove, stopping at the derelict guardhouse and pointing at the rusted lock. Break it open. I think there are lifebuoys and a life raft stored inside. It wasn't until Zhou Qinghong's incident in our past life that the school got thoroughly investigated. That's when we discovered the abandoned guardhouse in the bamboo grove, stocked with rescue equipment. Those boys only came out of respect for Lin Junshu. They were initially displeased with my refusal to help when they were in danger. Hearing this, they immediately got excited. Several people kicked the iron door violently, and the rusted lock soon broke off and fell to the ground. Inside the abandoned guardhouse, there was indeed a foldable life raft, along with lifebuoys and life jackets. There really are lifebuoys inside. How did you know? Feifei, Lin Junshu turned to ask me. But found I was already gone. I'd already turned back toward the artificial lake. Only a damn fool would miss out on free entertainment. You've all misunderstood Yu Feifei. Come on, we're grown men, we should apologize to her later. She's just a girl running a fever, and you'd make her go rescue people. That's practically sending her to her death. Lin Junshu spoke indignantly, making the male classmates flush with shame. Jumping into freezing water to save someone would be suicidal. The school swim team members approached as soon as I reached the lake shore. Leading them was none other than my arch-rival, Bai Qian. I felt dazed. That international swimming championship where I made it to the national team, Xiao Jing drugged me with performance enhancers. When my reputation was ruined and everyone turned against me, besides my parents, Bai Qian was the first to stand up for me. She spoke directly to the camera, addressing the reporters. Yu Feifei works harder than anyone. She's not that kind of person. Who would have thought my greatest rival would understand me best? She never misses a chance to throw barbs at me whenever we meet. Surprisingly, no one mocked me for not jumping in to save the drowning person today. Instead, they gave me an approving look. But my classmates nearby started getting upset. Who knew the school swim team members could be so heartless? They just stood there watching someone drown in the lake without lifting a finger to help. The crowd by the lakeside kept growing. There must have been capable swimmers among them. Not a single member of the school swim team entered the water. Instead, they grew increasingly agitated and turned their accusations toward us. Honestly, I found the whole situation rather baffling. Last time around, members of the school swim team had jumped in to help. Why is everyone just standing by this time? My stare was too intense. Bai Qian shot me a glare. Move aside, all of you. If we delay the rescue, you'll have blood on your hands. Lin Junshu's voice exploded, startling the people on the shore out of their wits. He methodically directed the male students. The 4-person inflatable life raft was launched directly into the water. Xiao Jing in the artificial lake had stopped making splashes. As soon as the life raft hit the water, I pointed to the spot where Zhou Qinghong had surfaced in my past life. Lin Junshu, There seems to be someone over there too. That spot was a hidden nook. From the lakeshore, you couldn't see anyone at all. That's why Zhou Qinghong, the campus belle of University A in her past life, ended up drowning. Lin Junshu jumped in fright. Who's there? Yu Feifei, stop scaring me. Since that spot was closer, the four guys on the life raft headed straight there. They cried out in astonishment. There are actually people here. Everyone on the shore began screaming in shock. Are there people over there too? 3. If it weren't for Yu Feifei spotting him, that guy would have been dead. This man owes his life to Yu Feifei. School swim team members have sharp eyes. Spotting someone from such an awkward angle, lips can flap both ways, spewing sweet words or sour gossip as they please. Even after risking my life to save Xiaojing last time, I got no gratitude in return. These bystanders mocked. This is supposed to be varsity level. My nephew swims better than you. Yu Feifei was too busy showing off to actually help with the rescue. Putting me down seems to give them some twisted sense of comfort. We waited for Zhou Qinghong's body to surface. The verbal abuse intensified. The most persistent rumor claimed I'd deliberately let Zhou Qinghong drown to steal her man. These rumors nearly ended my swimming career. Thinking of my past life, my expression turned ice cold. Bai Qian gave me a suspicious glance but remained silent. Bai Qian, why didn't you go in the water? I was still quite curious about this. Bai Qian smiled with a hint of cool detachment. We saw you leading the students to the life raft when we arrived. Saving lives is important, but only when you've ensured your own safety first. The training camp is starting soon. Don't push yourself too hard. I see. I nodded silently. I must have been a fool in my past life. The inflatable raft was rather thin. So they rescued Zhou Qinghong by dragging her aboard. For Xiaojing, they secured him with a life buoy and tethered him with a tow line. The male classmate who tried to rescue him nearly got dragged underwater by the drowning boy. A drowning person develops terrifying strength. I've experienced it firsthand. They had to slowly pull their way back along the rescue rope. It was quite a distance, and by the time everyone made it ashore, the crowd finally recognized the two who fell in, Zhou Qinghong, the campus belle of University A, and piano prodigy Xiaojing. Once again, I found myself in the eye of the storm. Didn't Yu Feifei have a crush on Xiaojing? If she didn't jump in to save him, was she really sick or just making excuses? Who knows? When it comes to choosing between a crush and your life, survival obviously comes first. I bet Yu Feifei only pointed out where Zhou Qinghong drowned because she knew Xiaojing was meeting her there. Rumor has it Yu Feifei chased Xiaojing for 3 years without so much as a glance back. Well, how could she ever measure up to Zhou Qinghong? The gossip mongers perked up like dogs catching a whiff of shit. Their gazes were dripping with pity and mockery. Ha, what's it to you? My expression was perhaps too frosty. A smile would have been far more polite. Of course, the gossipy classmates were completely dumbfounded. They never expected me to clap back so bluntly. Quite a few were fuming, their faces turning red with rage. Yu Feifei, don't get cocky just because you're on the school swim team. What's so special about knowing how to swim? Yu Feifei, you're utterly insolent. We're reporting you to the principal. I'm not afraid at all. No one can find fault with me today. Bai Qian snorted with laughter, waving her phone in hand. I've got it all on video. Every ugly smirk while you gossiped about Yu Feifei. The school swim team members immediately surrounded me, glaring daggers at those people. All we hear is your constant yapping, yet not a single one of you actually helped. Our captain Yu is gorgeous inside out. She's got admirers lining up. Xiaojing doesn't even make the list. Exactly. What's with all this petty jealousy? The armchair critics who'd been all talk suddenly chickened out when they saw the swim team recording, slinking away while muttering curses. A faint ripple disturbed my calm heart. Being naturally introverted, I didn't interact much with these teammates in daily life. The radiant and vivacious Bai Qian actually carried herself more like a captain than I did. Never thought they'd actually stand up for me at a time like this. Bai Qian shot me a disdainful look. We're just protecting the swim team's reputation. Don't flatter yourself. Well, that gratitude was wasted. Make way, all of you. If these students die because you're gawking instead of letting first responders through, their blood will be on your hands. The belated security guards and school medics began securing the scene, brusquely dispersing the gathered crowd. The crowd scattered in an instant. The tardy school medic initiated emergency procedures. Both Zhou Qinghong and Xiaojing narrowly escaped death. I gazed meaningfully at Xiaojing's fingers, blanched from prolonged soaking. The artificial lake's water was bone-chillingly cold in the dead of winter. After soaking this long, Xiaojing, will your hands still be able to play piano? I turned and walked away without another word. Didn't he blame me in his past life for not saving his beloved, this lifetime? I'll see for myself how much his living sweetheart truly loves him, Yu Feifei. Where are you going? Lin Junshu's incessant chattering behind me was splitting my head open. I watched this sunny young man, wondering what he was up to. Lin Junshu didn't stop, closing the distance between us abruptly, then hastily took a step back, his ears turned visibly red, heading back to the dorm. Aren't you going to practice? My face burned unusually hot. I must have been flushed crimson by now. You're sick. Shouldn't you get checked? Lin Junshu's tone turned serious. Just as I was about to refuse, he used his height advantage to practically drag me to the campus clinic. Gasping for breath, I said, "Since when did we get this close?" Lin Junshu shot me a glance. "Since you asked me to kick the door down for you." Admittedly, the classmates Lin Junshu brought along were all pretty burly, even he was a striking presence. In his past life, Lin Junshu didn't pursue his track and field dreams after graduation. Apparently some family emergency came up. So he went back to take over the company. We were merely acquaintances who exchanged nods, and after that, never crossed paths again. Yet at my lowest point in that past life, it was him who reached out to me. Somehow he managed to uncover that Xiao Jing was the one who reported me. Seems like I've inconvenienced someone. The next moment, the school nurse and security guard stood sighing at the doorway. Those two students are incredibly lucky to survive after being submerged in the water for so long. Their ancestors must have accumulated some serious good karma, but I heard that male student was supposed to compete in the Kleiber music competition this year. The school will probably have to give his spot to another student now. Why's that? The security guard asked, clearly puzzled. His hands were submerged too long in the lake. It'll likely affect his piano playing. The school doctor opened the door, adjusted his glasses upon seeing the two waiting students. What seems to be the problem? Students. Lin Junshu immediately stood up, pointing at me. It's her. She seems to have a fever. Could you check, doctor? When the thermometer read 40 degrees Celsius, Lin Junshu panicked and rushed me to the hospital. Yu Feifei, you seem a bit happy. Lin Junshu looked puzzled. Did the fever fry your brain? I shook my head. You're wrong. Fine, you're not stupid. I'm not just a little happy, I'm overjoyed. While bickering with Lin Junshu, we ran into Xiao Jing and Zhou Qinghong who were checking into the hospital. The two were wrapped in thick blankets in the ER, hooked up to 4 drips. Talk about bad luck running into them. But Lin had no interest in the drama. He was too busy anxiously helping me register. I just had a slight fever, but he acted like I was on death's door. Just as I was at a loss, I caught sight of Xiao Jing's miserable state. Feeling utterly carefree, I became completely obedient to Lin Junshu. Yu Feifei, you're like a bad penny that keeps turning up. Xiao Jing shot me a look of utter disdain when I appeared. Xiao Jing and I grew up together as childhood friends. Just before the college entrance exams, Xiao Jing's father made a fortune flipping properties. Meanwhile, my father had to retire early due to an injury, plagued by occupational ailments. He could only find work teaching kids to swim at the local pool. Right after the college entrance exams, the Xiao family quietly moved out of the neighborhood. After that, things between Xiao Jing and me turned awkward, and we eventually lost touch. Little did we know we'd cross paths again in college. I'd been quietly watching Xiao Jing from afar, never intending to get close, yet Xiao Jing scorns me while still basking in my kindness. The cruel irony is that in my past life, I only understood this after losing everything. I scoffed. What do you think? Don't tell me you assumed I came to the hospital for you. How did I never notice how full of himself he was in my past life? Xiao Jing clearly didn't believe it and snorted. Yu Feifei, there's absolutely no future for us. I suggest you focus on swim training instead. He then glanced cautiously at Zhou Qinghong, as if afraid she might misunderstand. Such profound devotion. What kind of seething hatred must he have endured to stay by my side in his past life? Xiao Jing flinched as if scalded by my mocking gaze. Yu Feifei, what's with that look? I saw Lin Shujun wave at me, signaling me to come over. She waved at him half-heartedly, eyeing the pathetic figure before her with indifference. Xiao Jing, do you really think the world revolves around you? Xiao Jing's eyes flashed with impatience, convinced I was being disingenuous. Yu Feifei, is that really how you want to speak to me? 5. If you've got the guts. Never show your face in the piano room again. My steps faltered as a wave of nausea hit me. The school's swimming training center and piano studio faced each other in 2 separate buildings. Xiao Jing often got so absorbed in piano practice that he'd forget to eat, until the day I passed out in the piano room from low blood sugar. throughout freshman and sophomore year, I'd deliver midnight snacks to Xiaojing no matter how late my training ran. I remember exactly why I'm running a fever now. Last night, people in the piano room complained about the strong smell of my takeout. With a frosty expression, Xiaojing ordered me to wait in the hallway until he finished practicing piano. Little did I know I'd be waiting 3 whole hours before he emerged, exhaustion written across his face. The noodles had gone completely soggy. Can't even buy proper midnight snacks, he scoffed, tossing the container aside. Don't come to the practice room anymore, underdressed for the chilly draft. I woke up this morning with a fever. Is that music room lined with gold? Why the hell should I go? Just looking at Xiaojing makes me sick. He thought I was playing hard to get and let out a mocking laugh. Noticing Xiaojing's gaze lingering on me, Zhou Qinghong curled her lips in disdain and waved her phone tauntingly. Jing, Yu Feifei is on the university swim team, you know. She was right there on the shore but didn't lift a finger to save you. So much for your childhood sweetheart bond, huh? Zhou Qinghong sneered as she tapped on the viral campus group video. My eyes flickered with dawning comprehension. Probably those people I called out made this video. Even if it can't really smear me, it's still gross enough to piss me off. In the 5-minute clip, I'm standing cold-faced by the shore at the beginning, then heartlessly turning away. Later, I'm seen cursing out those nosy classmates. Finally, I just watched Xiaojing flailing helplessly while casually joking with my teammates. That's actually a pretty decent haircut. Xiaojing snatched Zhou Qinghong's phone, his face darkening as he read, Yu Feifei, you keep saying how much you care about me. Seems your so-called sincerity is just empty words. What else do you have to say for yourself? It suddenly dawned on me why Xiaojing fancied Zhou Qinghong. Turns out they're two of a kind. But that just makes it more interesting. Yu Feifei, you're up. Seeing I hadn't come over, Lin Junshu rushed straight to me, but his gaze turned hostile when it landed on Xiaojing, a pair of dim-witted ducks. I arched an eyebrow. Well said, that truly speaks my mind. Seeing me walk slowly, Lin Junshu immediately took my arm to support me. Xiaojing noticed Lin Junshu's hand on my arm, his brows slightly furrowed with displeasure. Lin Junshu, do you even know what kind of person Yu Feifei really is? We grew up together. Yet she'd leave me to die without lifting a finger. How dare you fancy such a heartless woman? Evil. Xiaojing, have you lost your damn mind? Lin Junshu's pitying stare made Xiaojing flush crimson, his words turning reckless. Lin Junshu, the day will come when you see her for what she truly is. You won't even see your death coming. Too bad he's as weak as a kitten now. His threats carry no weight. Lin Junshu's piercing eyes turned icy as he scoffed and pushed me away. Xiaojing, the only reason you're still alive to run your mouth is Yu Feifei. I tugged at Lin Junshu's sleeve, done with Xiaojing's nonsense. Don't waste time on trivial matters. Hearing my words, Xiaojing stood up and glared at my retreating figure with venom in his eyes. Yu Feifei, do you have any idea how nauseating that stench of disinfectant clinging to you is? Built like a damn linebacker, you actually think Lin Junshu would ever look twice at you? My face darkened. What does this have to do with Lin Junshu? Has Xiaojing's brain been waterlogged or something? Like a rabid dog biting at anyone in sight. In our past life, Xiaojing repeatedly said I wasn't womanly at all. I glanced at Zhou Qinghong. Her dancer's skin was pale as snow, a stark contrast to my own sun-kissed complexion, bronzed from years under the sun. To my surprise, Lin Shujin suddenly flashed a grin at my flushed face, revealing a row of gleaming white teeth. I can see exactly what kind of person Yu Feifei is. Don't need anyone's unsolicited opinions. And you actually think Yu Feifei is tall and strong? Lin Junshu gestured in shock at my height in midair. Then with one sweeping motion, he pulled me into his arms. 6. My fever-addled brain short-circuited instantly. No wonder Lin Junshu's on the track team. The guy's built like a tank. Among girls, I'm considered quite tall and statuesque, but standing next to him, I looked positively petite. Lin Junshu flashed a shit-eating grin. Ever considered you might be the scrawny one here? My initial discomfort vanished as I turned my head away, bursting into laughter. Though Xiaojing stood at 178 centimeters, he looked downright puny next to Lin Junshu. It wasn't just me, even the nearby nurses and patients couldn't suppress their laughter. Xiaojing trembled with rage, his face twisted in utter humiliation. Lin Junshu quickly led me away. Once inside the waiting room, Lin Junshu promptly released my arm with proper decorum. Feifei, your turn is coming up soon. Don't mind that rabid dog. I knew his earlier act was deliberately standing up for me against Xiaojing to save my dignity. I felt a wave of relief, my expression relaxed, and I gave Lin Junshu a genuine smile. thanks for helping me back there, you're beautiful. Don't waste a thought on that loser's opinion. Lin Junshu turned away with flushed cheeks, mumbling something too quietly for me to catch. They're probably cursing me for being fever delirious again. As expected, I was kept for a series of medical tests. By the time I got the report, I was drenched in sweat. Thanks to my strong constitution, the fever had already broken. Still, make sure to get proper rest and avoid catching another chill. Compared to drowning while saving someone in my past life, getting pneumonia is a far better outcome, this lifetime. I'll make them experience what it's like to lose everything. When we reached the dormitory building, I sincerely thanked Lin Junshu. Lin Junshu, thanks for today. When he goes against Xiao Jing, he's worth 3 of me. You Feifei, we're classmates after all, no need to be so formal. Suddenly he looked at me eagerly. If you really want to thank me, why not come watch me train tomorrow? I don't know why, but I found myself agreeing against my better judgment, in my past life. Apart from Xiao Jing and my roommates, I barely had any friends due to my personality. After marrying Xiao Jing, between training sessions, I simply had no time to make new friends. When I returned to the dorm, surprisingly 2 of my 3 usually absent roommates were actually there. Feifei, you're back. Xiaoxue rose from her lower bunk, looking at me with concern. Are you okay? I saw your face was unusually red in the video call. Yeah, I just got back from the hospital. Hearing Xiaoxue's words, I felt a lump forming in my throat. See, those who truly care about me can tell at a glance that I'm unwell. What brings you and Xiaoming, 2 such busy people, back home today? I pretended everything was fine as I placed the medical records on the desk. You're sick. Why wander by the artificial lake and come back smelling like trouble? Xiaoming's voice carried reproach, though her hands never stopped moving. Ugh, I just wanted to see Xiao Jing and Zhou Qingheng crash and burn with my own eyes. But I didn't dare argue with Xiaoming. She's got the sharpest tongue among the 4 of us. The 4 of us in the dorm were the last to register, so we weren't even from the same department. Xiaoming, a top student from the foreign languages department, already had countless companies offering her jobs. The moment junior year started, everyone disappeared into their hectic schedules. Xiaogua, a stunning Chinese literature major, was already a rising idol constantly booked for gigs. Then there was Xiaoxue, whose family owned literal mines, and me, the swim team rep, a mismatched pair that somehow works perfectly. In my past life, I gave up my chance to join the provincial team for Xiao Jing. They called me a hopeless romantic. When Xiao Jing and I started dating, they kept making snide remarks, telling me to think twice. With sorrow written all over his face, Xiao Jing said my roommate disliked him, but he truly loved me. To avoid putting me in an awkward position, moving out might be the best solution. Eventually, egged on by Xiao Jing, I moved out and gradually lost touch with them. My 3 roommates probably had already sensed something was off back then. Xiao Fei, don't listen to those gossipers on the campus forum, they're just keyboard warriors. With a stern look, Xiaoming methodically reported every post that slandered and insulted me. Suddenly, Xiaoming's expression darkened as she gritted her teeth. What a despicable couple. What's wrong? What got you so worked up? Curious, I walked over, but Xiaoming quickly put away her phone and looked at me with concern. It's nothing, Xiaofei, isn't your training camp starting in 2 days? Don't bother reading those nasty comments on the forum. Xiaoxue and I will report them for you. Xiaoxue picked up the medical records to review, then took charge of all my afternoon errands, cheerfully linking arms with me. Just rest already, will you? Honestly, I've never seen you this nosy before. Still chasing gossip frontline with a 40 degrees Celsius fever. Having friends like this truly makes me feel blessed. I'd miss half the fun if I didn't watch the underdog struggle, I said with an unapologetic grin. Startling Xiaoming and Xiaoxue, they exchanged glances before asking in unison. You don't like Xiao Jing anymore? I shook my head with complete honesty. I don't like him anymore. Xiaoxue studied my expression carefully, confirmed I meant it, and let out a relieved sigh. A pang of guilt hit me. I shouldn't make them worry about me ever again, I repeated firmly. Xiaoming, Xiaoxue, I truly don't have feelings for Xiao Jing anymore. He only had eyes for Zhou Qingheng. The reason he fell into the lake today was because he was confessing his love to her by the artificial pond. They were making out so passionately that they broke through the old railing and tumbled in. Xiao Jing himself told me this in our past life. Whatever affection I might have had is gone. Now it just makes me sick. Xiaoxue pulled me down onto the bed, beaming like it was New Year's Eve. This loser isn't even worthy of our Xiaofei. He's shorter and uglier than Lin Junshu. Yet this creep actually tried hitting on me before, thinks he's some prize catch that everyone fancies. I genuinely felt Xiaofei deserved better. Xiaoming blinked and sighed. That jerk even hit on both Xiaogua and me. I was so shocked it felt like swallowing a fly. No wonder my roommates objected to me dating Xiao Jing in our past lives. So that was the reason. Xiaoming finally showed her phone with undisguised contempt. Just now. Xiao Jing posted on the school forum thanking the student who saved him and Zhou Qinghong, promising generous rewards. 7. He even included a picture of him holding Zhou's hand tightly, saying near-death experiences reveal true love unlike some cowardly people. I pursed my lips. Xiao Jing might as well have called me out by name. The post went viral instantly. Some comments praised them as a perfect match made in heaven. Others accused me of being a toad lusting after a swan. Relentlessly pestering Xiao Jing yet backing off in life or death situations, tarnishing the very concept of love. I was there on the scene. Yu Feifei genuinely didn't enter the water. Yeah, Yu Feifei's arrogance knows no bounds. As the captain of the university swim team, she didn't even bother to jump in to save anyone and just hurled insults instead. If it weren't for Lin Junshu finding the rescue equipment, Xiao Jing and Zhou Qinghong would have drowned for sure. Kick Yu Feifei out of a university. University students are loving the drama, even posting tons of photos showing me just standing by the riverbank watching Xiao Jing struggle. This just confirms what everyone's been saying. Soon after, Xiao Jing personally chimed in. Some people aren't even worth a single strand of Qinghong's hair. Seems like Xiao Jing hasn't been taught a lesson yet. Still in the mood to post this mushy romantic stuff on forums. The overwhelming discussions have made me the talk of the town at a university. Xiaoming and Xiaoxue were fuming, but I was the one comforting them. I was the one who led Lin Junshu to the life raft. I couldn't care less about what these people say. My conscience is clear. Upon hearing this, Xiaoming and Xiaoxue were exasperated by my attitude and dragged me to find Lin Junshu as a witness to clear my name. But then the school swim team posted another video. It completely shut those critics down. The recording started when I led people into the bamboo grove, all the way until we pulled Xiao Jing out of the water. Public opinion did a complete 180. Lin Junshu's account directly replied, if it weren't for Yu Feifei, some people wouldn't even get the chance to yap away. Xiao Jing owes Yu Feifei an apology. This reply instantly sparked a flood of responses. Some even responded with sarcastic remarks. I know Yu Feifei, she's such a hard-working girl. Who the hell goes to an artificial lake to fool around in freezing winter? And now you're all shaming that girl for not jumping in to save them. Disgusting. Where were you high and mighty folks when it happened? Yu Feifei waited outside the piano room for Xiao Jing for 3 hours last night and now she's running a high fever. For God's sake Xiao Jing, stop taking advantage of Feifei like this. Attached below is the medical record Xiaoxue shared. The booing grew louder. With everyone demanding Xiao Jing and Zhou Qinghong apologize to me, I turned off my phone. An apology? I don't need one. Their comeuppance is coming soon. Seeing the situation take a turn, Xiaoming and Xiaoxue finally relaxed. I never expected Bai Qian would voluntarily clear my name. Immediately sent her a thank you message on WeChat. 3 minutes later, Bai Qian responded with an eye-rolling sticker dripping with disdain. Don't think this means I'll yield the provincial team spot to you. May the best candidate win. Well, there goes my emotional moment for nothing. By the way Xiaofei, I saw Lin Junshu bringing you home today. Does he have a crush on you? Xiaoxue blinked curiously. Does Lin Junshu like me? I think Xiaoxue is overthinking it. This has blown up way out of proportion. Even my swimming coach called me. Yu Feifei, get some proper rest. We can't afford delays in the upcoming training camp. Making it to the provincial team is a rare opportunity. I knew deep down I'd never let this chance slip through my fingers again. Thanks coach. Nothing's going to stop me from training. The next day, my cold had mostly cleared up, so I made time to hit the track. Lin Junshu was thrilled to see me arrive, his gleaming white teeth never leaving that beaming smile. He winked at me before focusing intently on his training. I brought Lin 2 bottles of water, but he barely finished one before rushing off to the restroom. The track field sits right behind the music building. A furious shout echoed through the conservatory entrance the moment I stepped inside. That voice belonged to Xiao Jing. Professor, have you lost your mind? How dare you give my Kleiber competition slot to someone else? This is outrageous. On what grounds? Look at your hands. Do you still think you're the Xiao Jing of old? You brought this on yourself. Who else can you blame? Professor, please forgive me. Give me one more chance. I can't afford to lose this opportunity. A dull thud sounded from inside as Xiao Jing seemed to drop to his knees. if I lose this chance, I'll never become a concert pianist." The music professor's voice carried the frustration of seeing wasted potential. "Xiao Jing, you've let me down terribly. I had such high hopes for you, but you couldn't seize this opportunity yourself. This school has no shortage of hardworking piano students. There's nothing more I can do for you. You may leave." Xiao Jing shuffled out of the office dejectedly, bumping into me by chance. I walked straight to the restroom without a sideways glance. Xiao Jing blocked my path through gritted teeth. "You Feifei, came to laugh at my misery. Don't flatter yourself. I just need to use the toilet," I said coldly as I sidestepped Xiao Jing. Xiao Jing grabbed my arm with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You were training at the swimming pool. What brought you all the way to the music building to use the restroom? If you're going to make up an excuse, at least make it believable." I shoved Xiao Jing away abruptly. Xiao Jing's parents came rushing in through the door. 8. Seeing her son tangled up with me, Mrs. Xiao immediately started screaming obscenities. "You Feifei, you worthless bitch," the doctor said. If he'd been pulled from the lake sooner, Xiao Jing's hand could have been saved. "Didn't you claim to love my son? Why didn't you jump in to save him? A woman like you will never set foot in our Xiao family's house, not in this lifetime." Hearing Madame Zhao's words, I wasn't the least bit angry. In fact, I smiled brightly. I didn't enter the water because I was running a fever, but out of basic human decency, I found a life raft to save him. Besides, I don't even like Xiao Jing. Why would I want to enter your household? Stop your nagging, I've heard enough. In my past life, that wonderful mother-in-law of mine never missed a chance to nitpick about me. She said a mere swimmer like me wasn't good enough for her pianist son, but if I hadn't risked my life to save his hands, he'd be nothing. The Xiao family's expressions turned absolutely sour, especially Xiao Jing, who stepped toward me with a dark expression. "You Feifei, how dare you speak to my mother like that? Apologize to her right now." "I came here to laugh at you. Why would I apologize? And show some respect to the person who saved your life. If it weren't for me and the students from a university, you'd have drowned by now. Didn't you say you wanted to thank your savior?" "I don't need anything. Just get on your knees and kowtow to me, and we'll call it even." I shoved Xiao Jing so hard he staggered, like my past self tumbling to the ground. He stared at me in disbelief. Just then, Zhou Qinghong descended the stairs with red-rimmed eyes that betrayed recent tears. Her parents stood beside her. The moment she spotted Xiao Jing, she lunged at him, raining punches down on his body. Zhou Qinghong snarled through gritted teeth. "Xiao Jing, this is all your fault. If you hadn't asked me to meet by the artificial lake, I wouldn't have fallen in or suffered severe hypothermia. You took away my principal dancer position. You've ruined my entire life." Xiao Jing howled in pain from the beating. Xiao Jing's mother let out a shriek and charged forward when she saw her son being beaten, while his father began grappling with Zhou's parents. The scene descended into utter chaos, yet I found myself perversely delighted. You see, people never feel the pain until the rod strikes their own back. In my past life, saving Xiao Jing cost me not just a spot on the provincial team, but also branded me as the woman who stole a man while letting Zhou Qinghong drown. Zhou's parents seized the chance to beat me brutally, even threatening to cripple my feet so I'd never swim again. Xiao Jing tried comforting me then, saying the Zhous were grieving parents who'd lost their precious daughter. Their outburst was understandable. "Feifei, you're so kind-hearted, let's forgive them. After all, we're the ones who wronged them. I must be cursed with backstabbers. If the coach hadn't investigated thoroughly to clear my name, the Zhou family would have fought me to the bitter end. Now it's a case of dog eat dog. I hope those two despicable people stay tangled together forever." "Feifei, are you okay?" As I stepped out of the music building, Junshu Lin came running over, his face dripping with sweat. He looked at me with visible concern. "I'm fine. What could possibly happen during a bathroom break?" I shook my head with amusement. "Finished your training?" "Yeah, all done. Starting close training tomorrow." Only when Lin Junshu saw I was truly fine did he break into a smile, his eyes sparkling. The campus forums blowing up. Heard Zhou Qinghong and Xiao Jing got into a fight at the music building. That's why I was worried about you. There were quite a few people at the music building earlier, and plenty taking photos and videos. The viral explosion was exactly what I expected. I did glance over, but kept my distance. Didn't want any blood splattering on me, as I looked at Lin Junshu. Another thought occurred to me. "Lin Junshu, what's your dream?" Lin Junshu seemed caught off guard by how abruptly I'd changed the subject. Seeing me watching him intently, Lin wiped the sweat from his forehead, with burning passion in his voice. "Probably standing at the World Athletics Championships, watching our flag rise while my father proudly gives me a thumbs up." why don't you go visit your father? I'd like to see my family before intensive training starts, it'll give me peace of mind to face any challenge. As I looked at Lin Junshu's radiant smile before me, I recalled that in my past life, his father had passed away from a sudden heart attack around this very time. Lin seemed surprised. His family lived right here in the city, so going home wouldn't be difficult at all. Do I look like a doormat to you? You're right. Once my training camp starts, I won't be able to go home for over 10 days, might as well surprise them with a visit today. I nodded and headed straight for the school gate to go home. After being reborn, my first thought was to visit my parents. I'd caused them so much pain in my past life. 9. Lin Junshu. While the son wishes to care for his parents, they may not wait for him. May we both hold fast to our dreams. They say in his previous life during intensive training, his mother kept his father's death from him until after the competition, fearing it would affect his performance later. Lin Junshu quit track and field out of overwhelming guilt. Now, let's hope Lin Junshu can avoid this regret. Over the next 3 months, the weather kept improving. I finally won the long-awaited championship at the provincial swimming tournament. Naturally, this secured my spot on the provincial team. Dad proudly displayed my trophy in the most prominent spot at home. As I competed more frequently and won more awards, I pushed myself relentlessly until making the national team. I didn't see Xiao Jing for the longest time after that, only catching occasional updates about him at class reunions. Rumor had it their parents got into a physical altercation back then, resulting in minor disciplinary records for Zhou and Xiao. Rumor had it that Zhou Qinghong was left infertile from the incident, and the Xiao family refused to let Xiao Jing marry her. Outraged, the Zhous secretly hired thugs to break Xiao Jing's leg. They then schemed daily against Zhao's father until the family went bankrupt. They say he quit playing piano and now works as a factory assembly line worker. Seeing my lack of interest in these topics, they eventually stopped bringing them up. Xia Xue and Xiaoming exchanged knowing glances, as if hinting, "Are you and Lin Junshu getting serious?" Feifei, my parents invited us for dinner tonight. They said it's been too long since they last saw us and they miss us. Lin Junshu held my hand possessively while whispering sweet nothings. Alright, let's do it this weekend. Neither of us has training. Marry someone whose eyes light up when they see me. Truly blissful. The end. Story 2. I stood by Shin Yuzhou's side for 15 long years, watching him rise from nothing to become a wealthy tycoon. Yet on our wedding anniversary, he gave me quite the special gift, a positive pregnancy test, from another woman, when I confronted him at his office. I overheard him sneering into the phone. "Luo Jianing, she can't even bear children, even a hen lays eggs, what's she good for?" I stumbled away, only to get hit by a car. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in high school. I've forgotten everything, only the memory of that boy I adored remains. After evening study, my deskmate Shin Yuzhou urgently pulled me aside, claiming I'd become his wife in 10 years. I quickly brushed his hand away. Cut it out. Besides, glancing at the boy's figure in the distance, I gave Shin Yuzhou an apologetic smile. I already have someone I like. All I saw was Shin Yuzhou standing frozen in place, his eyes gradually reddening. 1. On our anniversary, I specially reserved a restaurant and insisted they decorate it beautifully. This marks the 15th year of marriage between Shin Yuzhou and me. How many 15-year chapters does one truly get in a lifetime? Practically everyone who's heard our love story can't help but envy us. We were desk mates in high school, attended the same university, and I stood by him through his entrepreneurial success. From school uniforms to wedding gowns, I devoted my entire youth to Shin Yuzhou. Watching the sunset through the window, I sent Shin Yuzhou the restaurant's location. He immediately replied with a bunny sticker saying, "Got it, wifey." It's a doodle I made in my free time that he turned into his go-to sticker. Not just that, my anime merch designs even decorate his office desk. They stick out like a sore thumb on his otherwise pristine workstation. Other colleagues would always tease him with a laugh. "President Shen, you're such a love-struck fool." He'd pretend to be angry each time. "What's wrong with supporting my wife's artwork?" The crowd would erupt in envious laughter and banter, timing it perfectly. I slipped into my coat and finished applying lipstick before heading out. The nanny came in through the door carrying armfuls of express delivery boxes. Spotting me, she cheerfully handed me an envelope. "Mrs. Shen, this is for you. It's marked urgent, must be important." "No." Puzzled, I took it from her. "I'm a freelance illustrator, and haven't received any contract invoices requiring my attention recently." Breaking the seal, a single sheet of paper fluttered out from the document pouch. Picking it up for a closer look, it was an ultrasound report, too. Standing outside Shin-Yujo's office building, the howling wind cut through me to the bone. The medical report was explicit: an intrauterine pregnancy with normal fetal development and detectable cardiac activity. In other words, this healthy baby was growing steadily, and the woman's name on the report was all too familiar to me, Song Ishu. She was Shin-Yujo's junior at university, when Shin was invited back to their alma mater to share his entrepreneurial journey. Song served as the student union officer organizing the event. After graduation, when she couldn't find employment, it was Shin-Yujo who took her in. At that time, Song Ishu pleaded desperately with both Shin-Yujo and me. She said she didn't want to return to her small hometown, unwilling to accept earning just 2,000 or 3,000 a month after over a decade of diligent study. She wanted to establish herself in the big city through her own efforts. She refused to be just a housewife whose sole purpose was taking care of children. My heart softened. Strictly speaking, her qualifications didn't meet Shin-Yujo's company standards, but I persuaded him to make an exception and hire her. I know all too well how crucial a career is for a girl from humble beginnings. I wanted to save her. Since joining the company, she's been working tirelessly to prove herself. She traveled extensively with Shin-Yujo, learning the ropes of business negotiations. Gradually, Song Ishu rose to become the head of the core department. If only that line hadn't been on the report, maybe I could have fooled myself into thinking it was just Song Ishu's pregnancy report, unrelated to Shin-Yujo. But Song Ishu left behind a line of delicate handwriting, almost like she was flaunting it. I'm sorry, Jianing, but don't worry, I'll keep this secret safe. The office was deserted on this Saturday. I instinctively pressed the button for Shin-Yujo's office floor. I could even feel myself trembling slightly from nervousness. What should I say when I see Shin-Yujo later? Confront him, yell at him, clutching the pregnancy test report tightly. I suddenly remembered how he'd held me days ago, whispering tenderly, Jianing, it's alright, take your time with the treatment. Not having children is perfectly fine too. I've been struggling with fertility due to health reasons. This has been weighing on my heart for the longest time. Yet Shin-Yujo never failed to encourage me. When relatives made snide remarks, he'd always be the first to stand up for me. He shouldered all the gossip and criticism himself. I often wonder how I got so lucky to meet someone like him. We'll have our own children someday. And he did indeed have a child, just not with us, but with them. I came in such a hurry this time that I forgot to text Shin-Yujo beforehand. He had no idea I'd come to the office. As I reached the office doorway, Shin-Yujo was on the phone with his back to me. Couldn't tell who was on the other end, only heard Shin-Yujo's derisive chuckle. Luo Jianing, she can't even bear children, even a hen lays eggs, what's she good for? My heart skipped a beat, just like that first flutter when we met, that extra heartbeat. 3. Don't even remember leaving the office. My whole body went stiff, like a corpse walking. Memories of Shin-Yujo flashed through my mind like a spinning lantern. During high school classes, he'd slip me silly notes to make me laugh, and even sneaked me out for unauthorized breaks between evening study sessions. That was my first time ever slipping past security right under their noses. We caught a movie together and held hands in the darkened theater. Later, I underperformed in the college entrance exams, missing my dream university and ending up at an average-tier college with Shin-Yujo. During college, we could finally be together openly as a couple. He'd take me around the city on his electric scooter hunting for good eats, sharing a single roasted sweet potato with me in the heavy snowfall. He told me, Jianing, I'll make it big someday, and true to his word, he did. After earning his first pot of gold, Shin-Yujo's career skyrocketed. On my birthday, my friends whisked me back to our university campus. Amidst the cheering crowd, Shin-Yujo knelt on one knee with flowers, proposing to me. Our friends wept with joy as everyone got swept up in the grand proposal. Only one person said, Jianing, think it over again. It wasn't until the screech of brakes behind me that I realized I'd unconsciously wandered into the middle of the road. As my body was flung into the air, I hazily recalled that time in high school when Shin-Yujo and I skipped class, only to be stopped by a boy. Lu Jian stood there in his neatly pressed school uniform, frowning slightly. Jianing, midterms are just around the corner, stay away from him. Yet I stubbornly resisted and shook off his hand. The last thing I saw before blacking out, after hearing about my impending marriage, Lu Jian leaned against the window and silently finished a cigarette, fresh off completing his research project. Moonlight cast shifting shadows across half of Lu Jian's face. He merely sighed and murmured softly, Jianing, he's not right for you. 4. Jianing, wake up. Someone shook me awake as my friend Sumeng leaned in and said, "We're getting a transfer student in our class." Rubbing my bleary eyes, I reopened my workbook and test papers. I actually managed to doze off during the 10-minute break between classes. Seems like the stress has been really getting to me lately. Whatever, let them come. I kept my head down working on the test paper and muttered, "Who transfers schools during senior year anyway? Stuck on 2 problems, this is tough." I glanced at Lu Jian sitting in front of me, his head bowed as he scribbled notes on his exam paper. The breeze lifted the curtains by the desk, spilling sunlight gently across his shoulders. My ears suddenly burned with warmth, and I quickly averted my gaze. I should ask Lu Jian about those 2 problems later, otherwise, Mom will drag me downstairs to his place for tutoring again tonight. Lu Jian and I grew up together as childhood friends. Our parents were college classmates back in the day. When my parents were busy with work, they'd drop me off at the Lu household where Uncle Lu's family looked after me. Over time, the Lu family practically became my second home. Lu Jian's just the same age as me, yet he outshines me in every way. During family dinners, Mom would always nag, "Why can't you be more like Uncle Lu Jian?" Lu Jian's practically tied with me in Mom's favoritism rankings. I poked him lightly between the shoulder blades, after Lu Jian turned around. I hesitated for a moment before asking, "There are 2 problems I don't quite understand." Normally, Lu Jian would have sarcastically teased me with a few sharp remarks, deliberately trying to provoke me, but today, he just paused briefly and gave a nod. His tone was flat. "All right." I tilted my head. "Okay, is Lu Jian off his rocker today?" "Everyone, quiet down." The homeroom teacher entered the classroom with a boy in tow, beaming as she announced, "We have a new classmate joining us today, let's give him a warm welcome." The class erupted in enthusiastic applause, except for Lu Jian, who propped his chin on his hand, staring out the window, clapping along. I thought to myself, same old cold fish, that one, couldn't even pretend to welcome the new kid. "Hi everyone, I'm Shin Yuzhou." The boy on the podium hadn't put on his uniform yet, just wearing a simple navy blue hoodie. I'm slightly nearsighted and couldn't make out his features clearly. I was about to squint for a better look. Lu Jian in front of me suddenly turned around and tapped on my desk. I quickly averted my gaze and met his eyes suspiciously. "What's up?" "Nothing much," he said with a lazy smile. "Just remembered you wanted to ask me about a problem earlier. Can't let my explanation go to waste, can I?" "Me, damn it." And here I thought he'd changed his ways. Guess I was overthinking it. "What do you want?" I whispered. "How about I treat you to bubble tea? Though I'm a bit short on cash lately." Lu Jian chuckled. "I'll take an IOU." We kept whispering and giggling under the stage. The boy on the podium finished his self-introduction. The homeroom teacher pointed to another corner. "Shin Yuzhou, take that seat." But the boy interrupted her. "Teacher, may I sit next to Luo Jianing? I'm a bit nearsighted, so I can only sit in the front rows." The moment he finished speaking, the entire class turned to look at me. Before I could process what was happening, he had already stepped down from the stage, and walked right up to me. He said with a smile, "Long time no see, Jianing, 5. When I didn't respond, the boy's smile froze on his lips. You don't recognize me." I gave an awkward chuckle. "So, should I know you?" Shin Yuzhou froze momentarily before forcing a polite smile. "No worries, I'm Shin Yuzhou, looking forward to working with you. My new deskmate seems a bit odd." During class, I kept feeling someone's gaze lingering on me from the side. During the break, Su Meng and I walked out the back door for morning exercises. "Jianing," Shin Yuzhou called out to me with a smile, "I just transferred here and still getting familiar with things. I might need to bother you quite a bit." He hadn't finished speaking. Someone had already cut him off. "If you know it's troublesome, then don't say it." Lu Jian patted Shin Yuzhou on the shoulder. "You'd better ask the class monitor or homeroom teacher about this. Luo Jianing has a terrible memory and forgets things easily. Doubt she can help you." "Me, what a jerk." I swung my fist at Lu Jian with mock ferocity, only for him to catch it midair and shove me forward. The voice sounded lazy. "What, did I say something wrong? Who was it that went home at noon to fetch her forgotten homework?" I immediately backed down, forcing a sinister smile through gritted teeth. "Well, aren't you just the helpful one?" When we reached the playground, we lined up in formation. Su Meng tugged at my sleeve and whispered, "Jianing, Shin Yuzhou's been stealing glances at you this whole time. How does he even know your name? Did you two know each other before?" I racked my brains for a while before shaking my head. "I've never even seen him before." Su Meng teased me with mischief in her voice. "So he fell for you at first sight, huh?" I pointed at myself with a silly grin. Would any guy actually fall for me at first sight? My looks are painfully average, shoulder-length hair just like every other girl around, with bangs that nearly cover her eyebrows. She'd easily disappear in a crowd. If we're talking about preferences, someone like Lee Ruoyun would be more his type. My gaze drifted toward Lee Ruoyun leading the exercises at the front of the sports field. Her high ponytail revealed a slender neck, sunlight cascaded over her, accentuating her snow-white complexion. Instinctively, my gaze shifted to Lu Jian beside me. He merely flexed his arms absent-mindedly, never once glancing toward the stage. Noticing my gaze, he glanced down at me and said casually, "Oh sorry, am I too tall, blocking your sunlight?" Me, damn it, yet somehow, I felt an inexplicable sense of relief. The last class of the afternoon was history. As I rummaged through my desk for a notebook, Shin Yuzhou beside me suddenly whispered, "Jianing, are you and Lu Jian close?" Without thinking, I replied, "Yeah, we've grown up together since childhood." Shin Yuzhou twirled his pen and asked abruptly, "So do you live in Chanhe Garden?" I was surprised. "Yeah, you too. We're heading the same way," Shin Yuzhou said gently, resting his head on his hand. "We could walk back together after evening study." I hesitated. He asked with feigned nonchalance, "What's wrong? Is this awkward for you?" "Not really," I said somewhat sheepishly. "I usually walk home with Lu Jian, but he takes forever to pack up. I didn't want to keep you waiting." Hearing this, Shin Yuzhou chuckled nonchalantly. "Then why should we wait for him? You can just come with me. This guy is really weird." His tone left me feeling a bit unsettled. "But, Lu Jian and I always walk home together." I frowned. "We've known each other for over a decade. He lives right below me and often waits for me. Why shouldn't I wait for him this time?" Shin Yuzhou froze in place. The atmosphere turned awkward at that moment. I realized I might have overreacted. Waving my hands hastily, I meant we usually go back together. It wouldn't be right if I didn't tell him in advance. Shin Yuzhou pressed his lips together, returning to his usual good-natured demeanor. "It's fine. I wasn't being considerate enough earlier." I was completely out of sorts during the entire evening study session. Something seemed to have slipped beyond my control, unfolding in a way I never anticipated. Lu Jian didn't come back all evening. It wasn't until night study session was about to end. He rushed into the classroom, hastily stuffed his textbooks, workbooks, and test papers into his bag, and was ready to bolt. I quickly stopped him. "Hey, why the hurry?" "Jianing, I won't be walking home with you today." Lu Jian murmured apologetically, "Go ahead without me, and be careful on your way. The streetlights are out on the road by our neighborhood gate. Watch your step, and text me when you get home." He hastily tossed out those words before slinging his backpack over one shoulder and striding out of the classroom. Watching his retreating figure, I frowned. It was rare to see Lu Jian in such a hurry. "Let's go, Jianing," Shin Yuzhou chuckled. "Seems Lu Jian's busy today. Perfect timing." His tone was casual yet carried an unmistakable smugness. "Just means we don't have to wait for him." We walked back along the street together, with Shin Yuzhou keeping up a steady stream of conversation, and we actually share the same hobbies, both love painting and sci-fi movies. He even has an autograph from my favorite comic artist. "Next time you visit, I'll give it to you," Shin Yuzhou said with the ease of someone who'd been here for years, not a transfer student. Feels like catching up with an old friend. What I expected to be an awkward journey turned out to be quite enjoyable. "Let me walk you to the neighborhood gate." Shin Yuzhou pointed at the streetlight. "Your route might be poorly lit." Lu Jian was right, the streetlights were out, leaving only faint car headlights to guide my slow footsteps. As I approached the neighborhood gate, Shin Yuzhou waved at me. "See you tomorrow." "Let's walk home together again tomorrow evening." I smiled and waved back. "Sounds good." Right after saying goodbye, I turned and headed toward the gate. Shin Yuzhou suddenly called out to me, "Jianing." I turned around to see his face shrouded in darkness. I couldn't make out his expression, only hearing him ask, "Do you know where Lu Jian went tonight?" My heart pounded like a drum in that moment. A vague answer lingered in my mind, yet I forced a smile. "He must be busy with something." Shin Yuzhou chuckled softly too. "No." He lowered his voice, almost hypnotic in its delivery. "He's seeing Lee Ruoyun off." 6. As I climbed the stairs, my gaze drifted toward Lu Jian's room. A warm glow from the lamp illuminated the entire window through the curtains. So he'd been home all along. I stared at the chat window with Lu Jian. After some thought, I decided against sending the message. Instead, a red notification dot appeared on the Contacts tab, a new friend request. I tapped open the notification. It was Shin Yuzhou. Right after accepting the friend request, he immediately sent a message. the manga artist you like is having a signing event tomorrow afternoon at the convention center in the North District. Wanna go? I gave a wry smile. But we've got makeup classes on Saturday. I was really bummed out for a long time when I found out about the book signing date. But this makeup class is crucial, we're reviewing last mock exams papers. I messed up several questions last time and have been waiting for the teacher's explanations. You okay? Shin-Yujo comforted me. Missing one day won't hurt. Just call in sick when the time comes. I hesitated, sensing my internal struggle. Shin-Yujo sent another message. Didn't you adore that manga artist? This is probably his last visit to China. You'll regret it if you miss this chance. The itch was unbearable. When Shin-Yujo asked again, I muttered, well, I'll see when the time comes. A sound came from outside the bedroom door. I shuffled in my slippers and pressed my ear against the door to eavesdrop. Faint, familiar voices drifted through intermittently. Right, just checking if she's home. I scrambled back to my desk just as 3 knocks sounded at the door. I caught Lu Jian entering through the door in my peripheral vision. He'd changed out of his school uniform into a light blue shirt. Why didn't you message me when you got home? He knows I'm severely nearsighted and can't see well at night. I buried my head in homework. Forgot. Lu Jian stood beside me for a while. Seeing I wasn't engaging, he caught my unspoken message. I won't disturb you then. Any homework problems tonight? I kept flipping textbook pages, stubbornly muttering, nope. Despite his answer, I still pricked up my ears, afraid to miss a single word from Lu Jian. I thought he'd come to explain why he didn't walk home with me tonight. Why didn't he tell me he was seeing Li Ruoyan home? But Lu Jian remained silent, simply standing beside me in quiet companionship. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore and looked up to ask, is there something else? I noticed an uncharacteristic seriousness in his expression. Jianing, keep your distance from Shin-Yujo. I was puzzled. Why? After a brief silence, he said, I was afraid you'd get fooled again. I wouldn't have minded if he hadn't mentioned it, but now it reminded me of how he gave Li Ruoyan a ride. At his words, I lowered my gaze and flipped through the book pages. Didn't you lie to me too? 7. I spent the whole night pondering the meaning behind Lu Jian's words. I was still in a daze during class, completely out of it. A commotion erupted at the doorway as the homeroom teacher helped Li Ruoyan into the classroom. Her left leg was wrapped in bandages, and she could only move slowly. Oh. Ruoyan, what happened to you? Did you break a bone? The other classmates gathered around, and Sumeng nudged me, whispering, look behind you. I glanced toward the homeroom teacher and saw Lu Jian standing behind her, holding Li Ruoyan's backpack. Meeting my gaze, he walked straight into the classroom and placed the bag on Li Ruoyan's seat. According to others, Li Ruoyan slipped on a banana peel after yesterday's meeting with Lu Jian, tumbling down the stairs and becoming immobilized. With most other boys in class having left, it was ultimately Lu Jian who took her to the hospital, so Lu Jian went to see Li Ruoyan off yesterday. Just another knight in shining armor scenario. Turns out Shin-Yujo wasn't lying to me. I kept my head down pretending to read, but my heart was racing. Li Ruoyan thanked Lu Jian politely while I deliberately buried my nose in the textbook, though every word on the page might as well have been gibberish. Jianing, Shin-Yujo tugged at my sleeve and flashed me a hand signal, reminding me not to forget to request time off. We still had that book signing to attend this afternoon. Alright. I had just stood up to head to the office when someone suddenly grabbed my hand. Lu Jian propped his head with one hand while pulling me closer with the other, as if he had anticipated my move. He said coolly to Shin-Yujo, there's still class this afternoon. She can't go. 8. It was lunchtime. And the classroom had already emptied out. Shin-Yujo's expression darkened. Lu Jian, I was asking Jianing, not seeking your opinion. With that, they made a move to grab me, but Lu Jian blocked them and looked up to ask, planning to skip class with her again. Shin-Yujo flushed with rage, who the hell are you, her father or mother? Mind your own damn business. Lu Jian ignored him, just looking at me with unreadable emotion in his tone. Do you really think I'm trying to hurt you? My eyes met his. In an instant, my mind went inexplicably blank. This phrase echoes in my ears like I've heard it 1,000 times. You feel it too. When did I ever say he harmed me? Shin-Yujo taunted deliberately. Just take care of Li Ruoyan. Jianing doesn't need your concern. Before he could finish, Lu Jian suddenly grabbed him by the collar and swung a punch at his face. Caught off guard, Shin-Yujo was sent crashing into chairs and tables by the blow. Clutching his head with a sharp inhale, he was then kicked to the ground by Lu Jian. I stood frozen in shock, still trying to process what just happened. Shin-Yujo stared at Lu Jian in shock, Clearly he hadn't anticipated Lu Jian would resort to violence. Don't project your own despicable nature onto everyone else, Lu Jian growled, gripping his collar. You never change, always willing to do whatever it takes to get your way. Did you make Li Ruoyan fall on purpose? Suddenly snapping out of my daze, I rushed forward to separate them. Enough, that's enough. Don't let the homeroom teacher catch us. Shen Yuzhou's face was bruised purple, his lips bitten raw with blood smeared across them. Why'd you hit him? I frantically searched for tissues while hurriedly straightening the desks, terrified the school administrators might spot us and drag all three to the office for disciplinary reports. Shen Yuzhou gasped sharply, watching his reaction. I turned to look at Lu Jian. In all my memory, I'd never seen Lu Jian lose his temper like this. Just as Shen Yuzhou had said, the mere mention of Li Ruoyan's name made him lose his composure. Lu Jian frowned when our eyes met. Jianing, Shen Yuzhou pulled me away while deliberately provoking. Lu Jian, if you want to stand up for Li Ruoyan, there's no need to take it out on me. Everyone can see what you're doing. I paused mid-step, a bittersweet mix of emotions welling up in my chest. Lu Jian sneered coldly. You think I'm standing up for Li Ruoyan? This punch is for Jianing. You know exactly how vile you are. 9. Shen Yuzhou told the homeroom teacher he needed to visit an off-campus clinic for an injury. Since it was the weekend and the school nurse was off, the teacher asked me to accompany him. Everything fell into place naturally. We ended up skipping half of the makeup class. Stepping out of the book signing event, I was greeted by a bustling crowd. Clutching the autographed album in my hands, I couldn't hide my delight as I kept admiring it. Shen Yuzhou beside me grinned and asked, "How was it?" "Absolutely amazing," I sighed happily. I've always wanted a personal autograph. Can't believe this dream actually came true. Turning to him, I asked, "You doing okay? No more nosebleeds?" Shen Yuzhou smiled. "It's nothing, as long as you like it." I sighed again. Just wasted the whole afternoon not doing practice problems. Whatever, Shen Yuzhou said indifferently. Education won't make a difference anyway. Might as well start earning early. All colleges are pretty much the same. Just getting in is good enough. The moment he finished speaking, I remembered how attentively Lu Jian would lower his head to explain problems to me every day. Honestly, I still don't understand why these two ended up fighting. From what I know, these two are like oil and water. They just don't mix. Lu Jian has his own social circle, while Shen Yuzhou just arrived and is still adjusting to the new environment. Did you know Lu Jian before? I asked casually. Sort of. Shen Yuzhou narrowed his eyes. He suddenly said with a laugh, "Jianing, what if I told you a secret? Would you believe me?" 10. The evening breeze brushed against my face as everything fell silent around me. Long after Shen Yuzhou finished speaking, I still couldn't snap out of my daze. He could name every single one of my relatives with perfect accuracy, tell me about my parents' hobbies, reveal my secret. Didn't you feel an instant familiarity when we first met? Shen Yuzhou coaxed gently. I know your favorite manga artist, your home address, and your distinctive traits. This is something no one else knows. He chuckled softly. Because you became my wife after graduation. When those two words left his lips, a peculiar feeling stirred in my heart, neither surprised nor puzzled, only profound regret remained. Shen Yuzhou naturally took my hand, our fingers intertwining. See, this is how we'll love each other in the future, looking down at my hands. So familiar yet so foreign. Shen Yuzhou said he returned to high school to make up for what he owed me. Only if I accept his confession can we return to the future together. Otherwise, the mission will fail. He'll end up both penniless and disgraced in the future. I asked him, what debt are you trying to repay? He smiled and said, nothing serious, just been too busy with work to check in on you. The two of them walked back in silence. I knew Shen Yuzhou was waiting for my answer, so tell me, I suddenly asked. What will Lu Jian be like in 10 years? Shen Yuzhou answered without hesitation, works at a research institute abroad, total workaholic, hardly any friends either, no family, no kids, just a lone wolf. He scoffed dismissively and added, even a decade later, he'd still be against us being together. Thank goodness you didn't listen to him. Some people just can't stand seeing others happy. I subtly let go of Shen Yuzhou's hand and asked with a smile, then are we happy? It was as if Shen Yuzhou had anticipated this question all along. He exhaled deeply and launched into an enthusiastic explanation. Of course, you're happy, truly content, everyone around us envies what we have. You wake up naturally at home, experimenting with new dinner recipes every day. You freelance as an artist for pocket money, and sometimes accompany my mother shopping. You've always been quiet and not much for socializing. so I made sure to take you traveling whenever I had time. I asked again, didn't I pursue a master's or PhD? Shin-yujo said nonchalantly, nope, after my startup took off, you chose to focus on homemaking, but anyone can see how happy you are. Seeing me grow silent, Shin-yujo's earlier tension melted away, in its place returned his trademark confident smile. See, now you believe me, don't you? The breeze tousled my hair as the sun dipped below the horizon. I lifted my gaze to meet his, my smile faded as I spoke in measured tones. You're lying. 11. I've never been the quiet, reserved type. I love making friends, socializing, traveling, and exploring different hobbies, so painting is just another hobby of mine. I don't intend to make a living out of it. After years of rigorous study, I have one singular goal: to attend the top university in my country, pursue advanced studies abroad, and dedicate myself to scientific research. Even if I can't join the research institute, I'd still love to be an educator. Shin-yujo might be my future partner. How could he not know what I truly want? I could never be content as just a housewife. This was the dream of my teenage years, the goal I've relentlessly pursued, the future I once carved into my heart. Shin-yujo froze. After a long pause, he finally asked, you're saying I lied? He frowned. What exactly did I lie to you about? You're my wife. I've already proven that to you. I looked into his eyes. Then am I truly happy? Shin-yujo's lips parted, but no words came out. How could you not be happy? He forced a smile. I give you plenty of money, bought you a big house, all your friends envy you. In an almost pleading tone, he coaxed softly, Jianing, I truly need you to come back. I promise I'll treat you right. Can we stay together as lovers? Though I still didn't understand this time travel scenario, I wasn't a fool. The desperation in Shin-yujo's eyes wasn't a reflection of his love for me. It was more like he'd already foreseen the disastrous failure of his mission and saw me as his last hope for a comeback. In other words, he was just using me. I'm sorry, but my heart belongs to someone else. I smiled at him and slowly stepped back. If this will make you fail your mission, then I'm sorry. 12. Shin-yujo shouted at me, Luo Jianing. His voice trembled as he desperately tried to grab me. Don't I love you? I went to book signings with you, bought you comics, took you to movies. Showed you so many places. It's fine if you don't remember me now, but I'm your future husband. Just accept me first, and I'll take you home with me. And it wasn't supposed to be like this. He stammered incoherently. We were desk mates in high school, always sneaking out during evening study sessions. We went to college together, and got married after graduation. This was supposed to be our ending. Shin-yujo's eyes were bloodshot. His voice a guttural growl. Did you also get reborn? Are you saying this to get back at me? I said calmly, I don't know what you're talking about. As for the future you mentioned, that's your life, who I like now, which university I choose, those are my decisions. My future belongs to me alone. I won't force myself to like someone I have no interest in, nor will I gamble my future away to become some housewife for you. He stood frozen as his limbs began fading into transparency. I knew then, he'd be the first one eliminated from this game. Ning Jia, who do you like? Shin-yujo murmured, his lips turning pale. I laughed. It's Lu Jian, 13. When we got back to school, classes were still in session. I slipped in through the back door of the classroom and whispered to Su-meng. Did the teacher notice how long Shin-yujo and I were gone? Shin-yujo, Su-meng asked puzzled. Who's Shin-yujo? Seeing me frozen, she whispered, are you hallucinating from period cramps? You went off campus alone to get pain meds when I offered to go with you. I glanced at the seat beside me, completely empty, just as expected, as if no one had ever been here. So failure means vanishing from this world, erased without a trace. I wonder what kind of life Shin-yujo is living in that other world, since everyone has forgotten Shin-yujo's existence. Then I'll pretend we've never met either. After school, Lu Jian waited for me out of habit, but I dawdled with my backpack, preoccupied with thoughts about Li Ruoyan. Limping slightly, Li Ruoyan thanked him politely. Thank you, but my father's picking me up today. I've already informed the teacher so you needn't trouble yourself. Only then did I realize Lu Jian had been giving her rides home before. The homeroom teacher asked him to do it. What else are you looking at? Lu Jian looked down at me. Let's head back. You wasted the whole afternoon and didn't pay attention to any of the key problems the teacher explained. Let's see how you'll handle your homework tonight. Me. I walked home with Lu Jian in the evening. I dragged my feet the whole way. I remembered Shin-yujo saying during the day that Lu Jian would end up all alone. How pitiful. What's on your mind? Lu Jian suddenly asked. I smiled and said, nothing much. Just wondering what I'll be like in the future. Oh, Lu Jian said casually, then just ask me, I'd know. I froze for a second. You knew. In the future, you'll complete your bachelor's and master's degrees, go abroad for further studies, then return to join a biotech research institute. He drew out his words. Just never got around to dating, lifetime single status, you know. Not only that, but his desk even had the anime merch I designed on display. Zhao suddenly remembered something and frantically rummaged through her school bag. It's gone. That signed art book is missing. Just because Shinjujo disappeared, does that mean everything he gave me has to vanish too? What's wrong? Lu Jian scoffed at my bewildered expression. Lost something? I made a long face. Yeah, I queued all afternoon for it. Found something. Is this yours? Lu Jian pulled a sketchbook from his backpack and handed it to me. My eyes lit up with excitement the moment I looked down at it. How did you know it was this one? How'd you find out? Where'd you get it? Did you buy it? I was chattering away like a sparrow when Lu Jian dug at his ear. Had a friend bring it over. Aren't you a fan of this manga artist? Hugging the art book contentedly, I frowned slightly, but I don't remember telling you that. That's why I say I've got the third eye. I know exactly what you're thinking. Lu Jian nudged me forward. Hurry up, we've got homework waiting back home. If you keep asking basic questions, I won't help anymore. You need to figure out the solutions yourself. Lu Jian's palm was gentle yet strong. These same hands had pulled me up time and again when I hit rock bottom. Streetlights flickered on one by one in the evening, illuminating the alleyway home. The end. Story 2. Lu Jian fell in love with the female college student we sponsored together, to marry her. He was willing to break ties with his parents and cancel our engagement. Later, when the college student disappeared, Lu Jian changed his mind and married me. 10 years later, my family's company was swallowed by the Lu family. My parents passed away from illness, and Lu Jian locked me in a mental hospital. This is the retribution for you tearing me and Jingjing apart. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day 10 years ago when Lu Jian wanted to break off our engagement. Facing Lu Jin's parents who refused to cancel the engagement, I smiled and said, since the two of them truly love each other, uncle and aunt should let them be together. As for my engagement with Lu Jian, let it be publicly dissolved here today. 1. When Lu Jian came to see me, I had already been tortured beyond recognition, unable to even tell whether I was truly ill or not. The moment he appeared, I rushed toward him, desperate to ask why he had treated me this way, but before I could reach him, I tripped over the iron shackle around my ankle. Her head happened to knock against Lu Jin's feet. Looking utterly disheveled, the doctor who entered with Lu Jian explained, Miss Wen is severely ill and keeps trying to escape, so we had to restrain her with chains. As he spoke, he cautiously observed Lu Jin's expression, afraid of inadvertently offending this figure now standing at the pinnacle of North City, but Lu Jian acted as if he hadn't heard, maintaining the same aloof expression as when he entered, looking down at me with disdain. It took a long time before I heard him speak. When one, living a life worse than death must be unbearable, isn't it? Why? I asked, lifting my head to look at him. With just one glance from Lu Jian, those people tactfully left. Only when we were alone did he slowly crouch down in front of me, with a cruel smile at the corner of his mouth. This is the retribution for tearing me and Jingjing apart. Jingjing. It took me a long time to recall a vague figure, so all these years he had never forgotten Su Jingjing. Back then, you forced Jingjing to leave, then pressured me into marrying you. When Wan, you never imagined you'd end up like this, did you? Lu Jin's hard-soled leather shoe stepped on my hand and ground down. The pain made me furrow my brows. Back then, Su Jingjing clearly took Aunt Lu's money to leave, so how did it become me forcing her away now? Moreover, when I later married him, it was Lu Jian and his parents who came to plead for the union. Back then, it was clearly you and your parents who begged me to marry you. When did I ever force you? I don't know which word in my sentence angered him, but Lu Jian suddenly reached out and grabbed my throat. If I didn't marry you, would your father have stepped in to help the Lu family through their crisis? If this isn't coercion, what is? In his eyes, my father's wholehearted goodwill was somehow twisted into pressure. So you maliciously took over my father's company and destroyed my family. I stared at Lu Jian in disbelief. Back when Su Jingjing left, Lu Jian knelt before me to apologize, begging me to forgive his momentary lapse of judgment. I thought he had truly changed his ways, so out of consideration for our childhood friendship, I forgave him and agreed to marry him. Today is Jingjing's death anniversary. Lu Jian suddenly tightened his grip around my neck. Has Su Jingjing already died? When Wan, go and apologize to her. Under Lu Jin's instructions, I've been forcibly medicated by them during this period. Even if I'm unwilling now, I can't muster any strength to resist. If only I could go back 10 years. That's what I thought before losing consciousness. 2. The moment I saw Lu Jin rushing in with Su Jingjing, I realized I had been reborn. That's exactly how he was in my previous life. At Uncle Lu's birthday banquet, disregarding all our dignity, he directly rushed to me with Su Jingjing in tow. He said, "Wenwan, Jingjing and I are truly in love, so I want to break off our engagement." Before I could recover from the shock of rebirth, I just stared blankly at Lu Jin's resolute expression before me. Aunt Lu standing beside me pulled me back slightly. She frowned and stepped between me and Lu Jin, sharply saying, "Today is your father's birthday banquet. What's wrong with you, causing a scene in front of so many guests?" "I want to break off the engagement with Wenwan." The vast banquet hall suddenly fell silent, with everyone looking at Lu Jin. Everything was just like in my past life. My parents gave the Lu family their last shred of dignity by not making a scene on the spot, instead asking Lu Jin, "Lu Jin, do you know what you're saying?" Lu Jin turned to look at Su Jingjing, who was cowering beside him, and said solemnly, "Uncle, I don't love Wenwan. I want to break off the engagement with her." As soon as he finished speaking, Uncle Lu rushed forward and slapped Lu Jin across the face. "You disgrace. If you keep spouting nonsense, I'll beat you to death right here." No one dared to intervene. Just as Uncle Lu was about to strike again, my father stopped him. "Old Lu." My father glanced back at me and continued, "Since the child is unwilling, let's just forget it. Forced affection isn't sweet, and our Wenwan isn't unmarriageable. This engagement shall." In my past life, my parents were never satisfied with this marriage arrangement. They only tolerated it because it was decided by my grandfather, and they thought I also liked Lu Jin, so they never said anything. Now that the Lu family publicly proposed to break off the engagement, they naturally couldn't be happier. But Lu Jin's parents disagreed. This marriage was arranged by our parents. Lu Jin's reckless words shouldn't be taken seriously. Aunt Lu knew my parents never approved of Lu Jin, so she turned to persuade me instead. "Wenwan, you and Lu Jin have shared so many years of feelings, you can't just call it quits like this. Don't worry, leave this matter to me to handle. Auntie will definitely give you an explanation." Indeed, in the previous life, it was Aunt Lu who stepped in, using both threats and incentives, ultimately giving Su Jingjing 2 million to leave Yunqing. Yet 10 years later, Lu Jin blamed me and my parents for his failure to be with Su Jingjing. Thinking of the regrets from my past life, I lowered my gaze and gently pushed Aunt Lu's hand away. "Auntie, since Lu Jin says they're truly in love, you should just let them be." As for my engagement with Lu Jin, I glanced at Lu Jin's surprised expression and declared firmly, "As for my engagement with Lu Jin, let it be dissolved here today in front of everyone." The voice wasn't loud, but every person present heard it clearly. Aunt Lu still wanted to persuade me, but my mother stopped her. "Since your son wants to break off the engagement, and Wenwan agrees, then this matter is settled." After speaking, they took me away. On the way, my parents said many things to comfort me. Seeing my parents after so long, my nose tingled and I couldn't hold back my tears. My father hugged me just like when I was a child. "Don't cry, don't cry. Our Wenwan mustn't cry. It's just a man, isn't it? Dad will find you a better one later." They all thought I was upset because of Lu Jin, only I knew that I was grateful for heaven's favor, giving me a chance to be reborn and see my parents again. As soon as I got home, my dad mysteriously went into his study. When I passed by the study, I heard him talking to someone on the phone, and it seemed like he mentioned me. Even after being reborn, I still have nightmares from my past life. Early in the morning, I woke up from a dream in shock. I heard the doorbell ringing as I came out of the bedroom. Opening the door, I saw a man who looked both familiar and unfamiliar standing outside. Although his nearly perfect facial features were still recognizable, the aura he carried was completely different from when he was 18. "Little uncle," I exclaimed in surprise. Jiang Yuzhou and I stared at each other in stunned silence for a long moment. Only when I called out to him did he chuckle lightly. "Why so obedient now? Weren't you always refusing to call me that before?" 3. Jiang Yuzhou was summoned to the study by my father. When my mother asked me to deliver some fruits, I overheard him saying, "Arrived after 4 a.m. The old house wasn't ready yet, so I came straight here. Knew you wake up early. That's why I dared to disturb, just didn't expect." It was Wenwan who opened the door. My father frowned, somewhat displeased. "Waited outside for over 3 hours, why not knock? We have guest rooms." Seeing me standing outside the door, my father suddenly stopped talking. this is Jiang Yuzhou, your Grandpa Zhang's youngest son, do you remember?" he asked me, seeing me nod. My father's smile suddenly took on a meaningful look. "Good that you remember." Breakfast was made by the housekeeper. At the dinner table, my parents kept asking Jiang Yuzhou how life had been abroad all these years, with big brother and second sister around. "You know how my eldest brother's temper is." Jiang Yuzhou smiled wryly, composed and elegant. I don't have much impression of Jiang Yuzhou's eldest brother. After Grandpa Jiang passed away, almost all the Jiang family members went abroad. Only Jiang Yuzhou insisted on staying in Beijing to finish high school. But Grandpa Jiang had his son late in life, so the whole family doted on Jiang Yuzhou, especially his eldest brother and second sister. So Jiang and Zhou must have been living well abroad these years. Just as my dad was about to ask something, Auntie suddenly came in saying there were guests. The Liu couple brought their son over. Before Auntie even finished speaking, Mrs. Liu had already entered. "Wan, it was Liu Jin's fault yesterday. We brought him here to apologize to you." My parents completely changed from their previous warm and friendly demeanor toward Jiang and Zhou, coldly telling them to leave. "Let's just forget about this matter. No need for apologies." Aunt Liu proactively came to my side. "After all these years of shared feelings between them, how can we just let it go?" Wan, Auntie knows you truly like Liu Jin, you see." Before she could finish speaking, Liu Jin, who had just entered behind her, suddenly asked me upon seeing Jiang Yuzhou, "Why is he back?" Everyone's gaze simultaneously turned toward Jiang Yuzhou. My father coughed twice and said displeasedly, "Yuzhou is a guest in our home." He glanced at Liu Jin, then turned his head to look at Uncle Liu. "Old Liu, it was your Liu Jin who publicly demanded to annul the engagement. Everything that needed to be said was made clear yesterday in front of everyone. Words once spoken cannot be taken back. This engagement is already void. I think apologies are unnecessary. We still have guests at home, so please leave now." My father's firm stance and blunt words somewhat embarrassed Liu Jin's parents. The atmosphere became tense and awkward. "I just got back and still have some unfinished matters to attend to. I'll take my leave today and visit another day." Jiang Yuzhou glanced at his wristwatch before standing up and speaking to my father. "In my memory, he's always been like this, even though he was pampered by those around him while growing up. Jiang Yuzhou never developed any spoiled arrogance. On the contrary, he is more cultured than the average person, knowing when to advance and retreat. Given my family's current situation, it's indeed not suitable for him to stay any longer." My father went to see Jiang Yuzhou off, while Liu Jin looked at me with a complicated expression, his tone somewhat sharp. "We just called off our engagement yesterday, and today Jiang Yuzhou returns to the country. How remarkably swift." This statement couldn't help but remind me of something that happened a very, very long time ago. I always thought that before Su Jingjing appeared, Liu Jin might have loved me. He also got jealous because of other guys around me. When I said I wanted wontons at night, he searched the entire North City for me. But all those past moments have become yesterday's wind. Now Su Jingjing has replaced the former me, becoming the one who holds Liu Jin's heart. "Auntie, you all should go back. Liu Jin has found true love, and I sincerely wish him happiness." I ignored Liu Jin and withdrew my hand from Auntie Liu's embrace. Just as I was about to turn and go upstairs, I heard Liu Jin shout loudly behind me, "Wan, do you think I came here today to beg you again? Do you think I wanted to come here myself? Aside from your privileged background and having good parents, what else about you compares to Jingjing?" I frowned and turned away, not understanding why he suddenly said these words. Before I could speak, Uncle Liu's slap landed on Liu Jin's face. "Have you forgotten what you promised me and your mom before coming here?" "You heard it too. When Wan is determined to sever ties with our family," Liu Jin shouted defiantly. "If that's the case, why are you still forcing me to beg her? Why won't you let me marry Jingjing?" Apart from her background, in what way is Jingjing inferior to Wan? Watching Liu Jin shouting and making a scene like a ridiculous monkey here, I suddenly laughed. I curved my lips. "Yes, uncle and aunt, they are truly in love. Please give them your blessing." In my past life, Liu Jin blamed me for standing in the way, causing him and Su Jingjing to miss their happy ending. This lifetime, I want to see if they can truly live happily ever after without me in the picture. My words undoubtedly added fuel to the fire. Not only did Uncle Liu lose face and nearly resort to violence in front of outsiders, but even Auntie Liu was scolding him. Suddenly, a figure rushed in through the door. The housekeeper tried to stop them but failed. I recognized her as Su Jingjing. She stepped forward, shielding Liu Jin behind her. "Uncle and aunt, it's all my fault. If you want to hit someone, hit me." It was my wishful thinking to like Lu Jin. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Then she turned to me again. Miss Wen, please forgive me. Lu Jin did nothing wrong. The mistake is all mine. I couldn't control my own heart. I watched coldly as Su Jingjing pretended to be pitiful in front of me, saying nothing. This farce became increasingly exaggerated, and the first one who couldn't stand it was my mom. She directly called the neighborhood security guards to come and kick them out. 4. My affair with Lu Jin became known to everyone in Beijing. There were plenty of people gossiping behind my back. Even when attending a press conference, the looks people gave me were filled with judgment. It wasn't until Lu Jin appeared at the press conference holding Su Jingjing's hand that the surrounding gazes shifted slightly. In my peripheral vision, staff members were leading those two toward me. I glanced up to check the seating arrangement by the organizers. Lu Jin's seat was indeed in the same row as mine, with just one seat separating us. This front row was considered the main seating area of the press conference. After Lu Jin took his seat, Su Jingjing also prepared to sit next to him. I raised an eyebrow with a smile, saying nothing. Sure enough, the staff stopped her the next moment. Miss, this is the main seating area. Please proceed to the guest seats at the back. The staff's voice wasn't loud, but it was enough for those of us sitting nearby to hear. Originally, when Lu Jin and Su Jingjing arrived, everyone's attention was already focused on them. Now with this commotion, those onlookers were even more eagerly watching the drama unfold. Su Jingjing awkwardly straightened up, feeling flustered under everyone's gaze as she hurriedly explained, I came here with Lu Jin. The staff member politely said, Mr. Lu Jin didn't inform us in advance that he would bring someone. All seats in this row are occupied. Please take a seat in the back. Su Jingjing remained standing still, clutching her skirt as she gazed at Lu Jin. Under the dim lighting, one could still see glimmers in the corners of Su Jingjing's eyes. Whether they were decorative sparkles or tears from fright was unclear. Lu Jin stood beside her, whispering words of comfort, seemingly urging her to take a seat at the back. I've never been to this kind of event before. I'm scared without you by my side, Su Jingjing murmured with a sob, casting a glance at me nearby. Then sit here. Lu Jin's heart had already softened as he held Su Jingjing's hand to sit down. The staff spoke up again. Sir, this seat is already taken. Please don't make things difficult for us. Onlookers began murmuring. What's this woman thinking? Doesn't she know her place? Daring to fight for the main seat's center position. Not even married yet, but already acting like Mrs. Lu. I could hear these words, and of course, Lu Jin and Su Jingjing could too. Su Jingjing froze mid-sit, and even Lu Jin's face showed embarrassment. I didn't say anything, didn't even glance at them, just kept my eyes down as I sat in my seat. But of course, there's always someone who can't stand me staying out of it. Lu Jin suddenly called my name. Wen, what are you laughing at? I turned around in confusion. Was I laughing? How come I didn't notice? Maybe I just couldn't help it. It's understandable that Jingjing is unfamiliar with such occasions since it's her first time attending. /O. I nodded. This is Su Jingjing's first time attending. But is it yours too? If you love her so much, why didn't you brief her beforehand and let her embarrass herself just now? Lu Jin's expression grew increasingly grim. Just as he was about to retort, the venue lights suddenly brightened. A commotion arose at the entrance, drawing everyone's attention, mine included. The person entering was Jiang Yuzhou, dressed in an impeccably elegant formal suit, looking completely different from when he appeared outside my home that day. As he walked over, many of Beijing's elite proactively approached him to strike up conversations. Even though the Jiang family's main businesses had relocated abroad, the Jiang still held a distinctive status in Beijing. Jiang Yuzhou maintained a perfectly polite smile throughout, his demeanor courteous yet distant. The moment he looked up, his gaze happened to collide with mine as I was observing him. I froze slightly, offered a polite smile, then pretended nothing happened as I averted my eyes. Lu Jin and Su Jingjing were still standing there. A staff member said helplessly, Mr. Lu Jin, could you please ask this young lady to take her seat in the back? As Jiang and Zhou approached, he glanced at the standing Lu Jin and the other person. Then he walked straight up to me and extended his hand. Wen. Long time no see. I assumed he was treating me specially only out of respect for my father. The staff member urged Su Jingjing to leave again. When I turned my head, Lu Jin was staring blankly at my hand clasped with Jiang Yuzhou's. Someone jokingly said, Lu Jin, if you can't bear to part, why don't you accompany her to sit in the guest seats at the back? Unexpectedly, Lu Jin actually took her to the back seats. I sneered inwardly, he really does like Su Jingjing. It's easy to move from the host's seat to the guest's seat, but getting back might not be so simple. 5. After Jiang and Zhou appeared at the press conference, everyone was speculating about why he returned to the country. I asked my dad, the Jiang family's businesses are all overseas, so why has Jiang Yuzhou suddenly come back now? My dad gave me a meaningful look and said, he came back because he wanted to. Why do you care so much? As if suddenly remembering something. He sat back down beside me and stared at me, asking, what, do you care about him that much? I shook my head, no, I'm just a little curious. In my memory, Jiang Yuzhou didn't return to the country at this time in my previous life. I only remember that on the day I married Lu Jin, my father received a phone call, after which he seemed somewhat distracted throughout the wedding. After a long time, I heard the news of his passing from others. Come to think of it, the day of his accident was the same day as your wedding with Lu Jin. My rebirth seems to have truly changed many things. I called off the engagement with Lu Jin, and Jiang Yuzhou didn't pass away on my wedding day either. Over the weekend, my parents invited Jiang Yuzhou over for dinner. During the meal, they jokingly brought up the time when Jiang Yuzhou and I were kids. Back then, we tried to get Wan to call you uncle, but she just wouldn't do it no matter what. Jiang Yuzhou glanced at me with a smile. Now you're finally willing to call me that. Jiang Yuzhou is only a year older than me. We used to play together often as kids, but back then when he asked me to call him uncle, I really couldn't bring myself to say it. I was too young to understand back then. I replied casually. My father was in a good mood and had been drinking, so he was more talkative than usual. Even as a child, you were always drawn to good looks. You thought Yuzhou was handsome and would cling to him all the time, even saying you wanted to marry him someday. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone burst into laughter. Jiang and Zhou pursed their lips, their slightly lowered eyes brimming with amusement. The blush on their faces spread all the way to their earlobes. Not only was I not embarrassed by my father's words, but I also secretly marveled at how good my taste had been as a child. Jiang and Zhou are indeed very good-looking, both when they were young and now. After dinner, my parents asked me to see Jiang and Zhou off, but we unexpectedly ran into Lu Jin and Su Jingjing on the way. Lu Jin lives in the same residential area as my family. They were standing outside the Lu family's villa, apparently having just come out as well. I heard Su Jingjing sobbing softly. Your parents look down on me. They think I'm just a poor student from the mountains. They like Wan. They believe only Wan is worthy of you. Lu Jin kept patiently comforting her, but his words to Su Jingjing were stepping on me. Wan just got lucky with her birth. She's hypocritical and always putting on airs. Aside from her family background, there's nothing about her that compares to you. Su Jingjing's mood improved slightly. Really? But everyone says Wan is prettier than me too. I don't think so. Wan's looks are just average. In my heart, you're still the more beautiful one. Unconsciously, both Jiang Yuzhou and I stopped walking, standing still as Lu Jin and Su Jingjing took turns belittling me in perfect harmony. We weren't standing too far from Lu Jin. He quickly noticed me. Wan. Lu Jin glanced at me, then at Jiang Yuzhou standing beside me. It's so late. Why are you two together? With Jiang Yuzhou present, I didn't want to get too entangled with Lu Jin in front of him. When I reached out to pull Jiang Yuzhou away, he remained standing still. I thought young Master Lu had poor eyesight and wouldn't notice us. This was the first time I heard Jiang Yuzhou speak to someone in such an impolite tone. He glanced at me, then at Su Jingjing. If you have eye problems, go see a doctor. Lu Jin. After saying that, he bent down to take my hand and walked past Lu Jin and Su Jingjing. After walking some distance, I heard Su Jingjing crying again. Lu Jin was still comforting her, but his tone carried a hint of impatience. After walking a bit further, Jiang Yuzhou finally released my hand. Sorry, I knew he was apologizing for holding my hand earlier. It's fine. I waved my hand dismissively. 6. It was already a month later when I found out Su Jingjing was pregnant. Now that the woman has a child, shouldn't the Lu family agree to let her in? I think it'll probably happen soon. The two people speaking were female companions brought by Jiang and Zhou's friends. At that moment, I was sitting on the club's sofa, half listening to their conversation. Only I knew clearly that the Lu family's financial problems were gradually emerging at this time, and Lu Jin's parents would absolutely never allow Su Jingjing to marry into the family. They were still counting on my Wan family to bail them out. When Jiang Yuzhou placed a dessert in front of me, the people at the card table behind us burst into suggestive laughter. Yuzhou, you made all of us wait just to fetch food for Miss Wan. Do I not have waitstaff here? Some of these people were wealthy heirs who had just returned from abroad. while others were old acquaintances of Jiang Yuzhou from Beijing. While they chatted, I quietly ate the dessert Jiang Yuzhou had brought me, though my ears remained attentive to their conversation, hearing them mention the Liu family. I unconsciously curved my lips slightly. I thought to myself that it wasn't in vain for me to actively approach Jiang Yuzhou during this time, showing him goodwill and having him introduce me to this circle. The Liu family somehow got wind of it and had already been contacting people from my company. Upon hearing this, I put down my spoon. Jiang and Zhou, who had been chatting with them, were the first to look up at me. The dessert was barely touched. He asked me, "Don't like it?" I shook my head. "I'm cutting back on sugar lately." He nodded and had it taken away. Several of his friends were calling him over to play cards. Jiang Yuzhou didn't go immediately, but instead turned his head to ask me, "Want to play cards?" Looking into his eyes, I pretended to hesitate for a moment. "I don't know how." "No problem, I'll teach you." Jiang Yuzhou sat me down at the card table. "If we lose, it's on me. If we win, it's yours." As soon as he finished speaking, those people started laughing again. Settling with Zhou, "Then let's make it bigger." Jiang and Zhou seemed to be deliberately waiting for him to say this, raising their eyes to look at the speaker. "How about we bet on that deal between your family and the Liu family?" He smiled carelessly, but his light-hearted words left everyone at the card table somewhat shocked. "If I win the Liu family's deal for the Wen family, I'll give you that project we discussed the other day. If I lose, /holy shit. The person sitting across from me stared at Jiang Yuzhou in disbelief. The Liu family deal is only worth a few million, but your project is over 100 million. Hearing this, I was also stunned. Jiang Yuzhou, however, remained nonchalant as he smiled and asked, "Wanna bet?" The other person glanced at me. "Bet, you, Jiang Yuzhou, dare to gamble with $1 billion project just to make a beauty smile? What's the Liu family's business deal worth?" Thinking about Jiang Yuzhou's $1 billion project, my hand holding the cards trembled slightly. Jiang Yuzhou seemed to notice and leaned down to whisper reassuringly in my ear, "It's fine, just play casually." Fortunately, we won in the end. How could I lose this? The opponent threw their cards back onto the table. Jiang and Zhou looked down at me, smiling without a word, their expressions still calm, yet I felt relieved. When mentioning the Liu family's business deal again, I smiled and said, "Don't worry, whatever the Liu family promised, our Wen family will match it. We won't let you lose out on this deal." As I left the club, I happened to see Lu Jin staggering out of the adjacent hotel. The person accompanying him was someone I recognized, a manager from the company of the man who had been sitting across from me earlier. Lu Jin was all smiles, personally escorting that manager to his car. As he turned around, he froze for a moment when he saw me. Su Jingjing, standing beside the Liu family, noticed his unusual reaction and also looked over. She whispered something into Lu Jin's ear, and the two of them left together. The Liu family will eventually be ruined by Lu Jin, bringing a pregnant woman to a business meeting. What a breach of etiquette, don't you know? The young master of the Liu family takes that woman everywhere these days. After they left, I heard the remaining people mutter disdainfully. Early the next morning, while driving to the office, I received a call from Lu Jin. "Wen, was that intentional?" I curled my lips into a smile. "Isn't this just how business works?" These were the exact words Lu Jin said to me in my past life when he maliciously took over my family's company. Now I'm returning them to him verbatim. "You're targeting me and the Liu family just because I called off the engagement, aren't you? I'm so glad I broke it off with you back then. The thought of spending my life with someone like you makes me sick." Lu Jin's voice carried a tone of flustered exasperation. "Oh really?" I retorted with a cold laugh. "Given the Liu family's current situation, do I even need to target them?" "Lu Jin, do you think this single deal can revive the Liu family?" "You're being naive. I suggest you go home and ask about the Liu family's actual situation first." Ridiculous. If just one deal could save the Liu family, then in their past life, Lu Jin's parents wouldn't have been so desperate to force Lu Jin into marrying me. I think in their past life, after Su Jingjing disappeared, Lu Jin compromised and came to beg for my forgiveness, probably because they learned about the Liu family's situation. Lu Jin's parents only revealed the Liu family's true financial situation to us after marriage. In the end, my father exhausted all our resources to barely save the Liu family from the brink of bankruptcy, solely for my sake. But later, when Lu Jin gained power, the first thing he did was maliciously take over my family's company. On the phone, Lu Jin suddenly fell silent, then after a long pause asked me, "Then why did you still snatch this business deal?" "Why? Because I also want Lu Jin to experience the despair our family went through in our past life, make him watch as hope slowly crumbles before his eyes, let him feel the same resentment when my family was nearly driven to bankruptcy by him. When my father drank until he vomited blood to secure a deal, only to have it snatched away by him the next day, I didn't answer and simply hung up the phone. Given the Lu family's current situation, if I wanted to take advantage of their misfortune, they'd have to declare bankruptcy by tomorrow, but I'm unwilling to do that. I want to watch Lu Jin struggle desperately with my own eyes. I want him to understand that even without me, standing between them, he and Su Jingjing would never have a happy ending. 7. I saw Lu Jin again at a charity gala. After not seeing him for several months, he had become much thinner, giving off a somewhat different impression than before. I was somewhat surprised not to see Su Jingjing by his side this time. When Lu Jin saw me, he visibly froze for a moment, his gaze filled with too many emotions. He took the initiative to speak to me, his tone markedly different from before. Long time no see. I didn't want to engage with him, but Lu Jin kept talking to himself. You never liked attending these kinds of events before. There were times I asked you to accompany me, and you refused. I frowned. The memory is too distant. I can hardly recall what he said. You came with Jiang Yuzhou, didn't you? Lu Jin suddenly shifted the topic to Jiang Yuzhou. I impatiently grunted and immediately met Jiang Yuzhou's gaze as he looked over. There was still a hint of amusement in Jiang Yuzhou's eyes until he noticed Lu Jin standing beside me. I don't know what he said after tilting his head to the person beside him, but then that person also turned to glance at me. Then Jiang and Zhou strode toward me. I put down my wine glass, ignoring Lu Jin who was still chattering beside me, and walked toward Jiang and Zhou as well. For some reason, I just felt like Jiang and Zhou seemed displeased. The feeling became even more pronounced as I sat with Jiang Yuzhou in the VIP area specially prepared by the organizers. When we attended such events together before, Jiang Yuzhou's attention was always on me, but now he had been talking to the person beside him for a long time, as if deliberately refusing to turn and look at me. I feigned another cough. Jiang Yuzhou beside me sighed softly and raised his hand to ask a staff member for a cup of hot water. If your throat is uncomfortable, don't drink alcohol. As I took the hot water, I asked him, Jiang Yuzhou, are you unhappy? Jiang Yuzhou neither admitted nor denied it. He only said, I don't have the right to be unhappy yet. A baffling sentence, yet I suddenly understood it. That person behind you has been staring at you for quite a while. Aren't you going to say something? His tone carried obvious jealousy as he spoke. I didn't need to turn around to know he was talking about Lu Jin, who had been watching me intently. Lu Jin was sitting among the regular guests, maintaining a not-so-close distance from me. Throughout the entire party, Lu Jin was either looking at me or finding opportunities to strike up a conversation with a foreigner. Of course I knew that foreigner. He was a well-known figure in investment banking, in my past life. After the Lu family came clean about their situation, my father went to great lengths to establish a connection with this overseas investor, persuading him to lend a helping hand to the Lu family. I just never expected Lu Jin to approach him on his own in this lifetime. A sudden guess flashed through my mind. Noticing my fixed gaze in that direction, Jiang Yuzhou also turned to glance over. Then he asked me, Mr. Hopes and I are friends, would you like to meet him? I withdrew my gaze and looked at Jiang Yuzhou beside me. You must have noticed that I deliberately approached you earlier to get you to introduce me to your friends. Jiang Yuzhou nodded with a light laugh. Now I want to meet that overseas investor. Are you willing to take me there? He nodded again, his gaze at me soft as water, even his smile tinged with adoration. Of course I'm willing. I frowned, stared at him for a long moment before voicing my doubt. Jiang Yuzhou, you don't like me? Do you? 8. Thinking about Lu Jin's unusual behavior that day, while chatting with a friend, I casually asked, how are Lu Jin and Su Jingjing doing? Is the Lu family still refusing to let her in? My friend paused, perhaps surprised that I suddenly brought up Lu Jin on my own. After losing the baby in Su Jingjing's womb, Lu Jin drove her out of Beijing. Oh, that's something I haven't heard before. Because of your relationship with Lu Jin, no one dared to say it in front of you. The Lu family's business ran into trouble, and Lu Jin was swamped with work during that period. That Su Jingjing kept making scenes, suspecting he had someone else. During their argument, somehow Su Jingjing's child was lost. By